I believe that you were the beginning
Right.
of all this.
Right. Well, me and Noah
Yes,
were.
you and Noah.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you like to take us through the structure and how this came to happen?
Yeah. So it started with Noah showing me this crazy YouTube subculture that actually exists of these guys who catch predators online and do this like vigilante justice thing. These videos are completely insane, and you can tell how you found it and like.
Sure, yeah, it was before. I don't have the excuse of it being during quarantine. It was before quarantine, but I was just on YouTube very deeply. And I was up late at night watching these videos, just really taken aback, just like, this doesn't seem like it should be allowed, even though it's like, it's cool to see predators exposed. It was just, seemed like something that I should not be able to see, should not be shared with the world. And
then when he showed it to me, I was like, obviously the videos themselves are super intense, but I was immediately really fascinated, A, by the world, and then B, by the psychology of the types of dudes who would do this thing. Like what kind of person would have the adrenaline junkie attitude, the ego, the power, hungriness to like do these types of really, really intense videos. And I was just like, I want to make a movie about a guy like that, because that guy must be insane.
because the videos are so dark, but the people making them are just having the time of their lives. They love it. They can't get enough.
So yeah, it started there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then how did you Frankenstein this character that was so gracefully portrayed
Yes.
on
It's like a
screen?
swan in this movie. So basically, I named some traits earlier, but like we kind of just deconstructed an idea of what someone what this kind of person would look like, and it seemed, what we gathered from these people, and it's like, yeah, this is someone who is addicted to the excitement. This is someone who really wants to quote Benny in the movie, wants to like dominate people and wants to, and also seems to have a pretty big ego, as a lot of these guys do. And so we were like, yeah, what kind of guy? Yeah, so we came up with like, oh, he's a high school athlete holding on to like these glory years that were taken away from him because of this very traumatic thing that happened to him, and he has suppressed that trauma in his activating, or his acting it out through this really intense thing.
Yeah, I think finding also, the trauma at the root of it that sort of gets revealed was a big part, because it was just like a key to who this person was and what would be driving them.
And Jake, at which point of this lovely journey did you jump in?
Jake, do you want? Hunter and Noah talked to me, and they were like, there's this crazy. First, they were like, watch these YouTube videos, and I was like, oh, these are horrible. These are really uncomfortable videos, and I don't necessarily enjoy watching them. And they were like, but this could potentially. They're like, we're kind of gearing up towards something. And they were like, we have a movie in mind, and I was like, that sounds awesome. And they kind of shared the vision, and the vision was really powerful, and just kind of showing these everything that they've sort of been saying, they sort of said to me, they were like, imagine what type of person makes these videos? Like, what's the psyche behind the person that makes these types of videos? And I found that incredibly interesting. And they're like, yeah, we're trying to find this kind of person who's terrible, egomaniacal, really full of himself, loud, obnoxious, annoying, and they're like, and we just immediately were like, we know the guy. Like, we know someone who's so annoying. And I was like, hell yeah. That's obviously being a little, I'm joking a little bit. No, they were like, we think this could be a really beautiful union of arts and work.
That's exactly what we said. So.
I remember when Hunter and Noah first passed on the script to me, and they were like, yeah, we're going to try to make it. Do you want to hop on board? Well, I was like so honored and thrilled, but beyond that, I was so excited especially when I read the part of Sam, because like this genre of movie is like really not like my go-to normally. Like I watch like rom-coms and like reality TV, but I was so excited that there was gonna be like a character in this kind of thriller where you often see so much like machismo, and it can be very, maybe not disengaging isn't the right word, but like unapproachable for some, to maybe not, who haven't like seen themselves in a film like this, or can't like ground themselves in a crazy story like this. So when they were like, yeah, we want Sam to be gay and we want you to play it, and like hopefully kind of bring a window in for people to see this type of movie, I just got so excited, and then we just went for it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the character is a huge part of making the audience feel like, okay, we're in sort of safe hands. There's somebody who's kind of questioning, like, or like, this is not how people should be. And incredible.
Jake's awesome.
So, was there a lot of conversation between you four about deciding on the structure of the characters and how they would interact with each other? And did you guys kind of build everything, like all of that sketch, let's say, all of that frantic kind of like sketch together? Or was the idea kind of like, was it gravitated more from the writers and kind of like directed towards you? What was the dynamic like?
I think we had so much fun writing the poker scene together with everybody interacting, and that was just like, oh yeah, we're having a great time. And we were right together, and we're talking through, bouncing it off, and then we got to just the big pedophile speeches, and we're like, okay, let's take a break. I don't know, this will be a tougher part for all of us, for both of us.
Yeah, we all went to, the three of us went to school together, went to UCLA together, so there was sort of a natural dynamic rapport, friendship sort of vibe that obviously is not like the one in the movie, but there's that sort of built in, understanding and energy between the three of us was obviously helpful.
And yes, sorry.
Oh,
There you go.
no, shit. I was just gonna say there was a lot of there was definitely a lot of. It was very interesting. It was really cool to get the characters so richly written already, and there was kind of this. I think part of the story that's so beautiful is there is this like idea of a man, of a human, that then is so quickly unravels because it's like it's a house of cards. It's so not sustainable. It's a foundation built on nothing. And we spent a lot of time. There was a really long Google Doc that we were working on in terms of, you were just asking about developing the characters and how they all related to each other. We worked on that Google Doc that was like 70, maybe not 70 pages, but like 50 pages on like the characters' background and how we all related to each other and our histories. And that was really rich, and that was not something you get to really do all the time. And I would say greatly enhanced the experience and like the getting to know the characters.
We made music playlists for everybody too.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it shows up on screen, but
The music playlist is so good. Every once in a while, I'll be like working out, and I'll be like, I need to tap into that kind of fake machismo that Benny is so a part of, and I'll be like, oh, I'll put it on, and it gets the job done.
Amazing. Well, that was the problem with the 4 mics. I spoke too soon. I agreed. Well, take it back now. So, was the ending always meant to be a train wreck? And was there more scenarios about this train wreck?
Yeah, I mean, there were multiple endings. There's a secret ending that exists that we filmed, and that was a part of the movie at a certain point, so it went a little further. But in terms of the train wreck of it all, I mean, like Wes was saying with this character being a house of cards, and the movie, living and dying by his energy and his control and lack thereof of each situation, and his crumbling mental state as he tries to complete this self-righteous mission, but can't get out of his own way. And I think one thing that I'm really, in a lot of, I think, when you put these people in this sort of circumstance and these characters make these sorts of choices, we want to just try to follow, the natural through line of what this sort of violent situation would create in these people,
Yeah, we always knew it wasn't gonna work out for Benny. That was not in the cards because it's like, especially once he kills somebody, even though he is a predator, he's a pedophile. So once he murders somebody, it's sort of like, there's no going back once you do that. So it's sort of like, it's gonna be fun to see him, or it's gonna be something. It's gonna be fun to see him try to get out of it. But we always knew it was not gonna end well. But
You had to drag everyone into it.
Yeah.
yeah, those are the consequences.
Yeah, I mean, there was a really, I don't know, even when we first were talking about it, something I found so poignant about it was this, I don't know, this same thing, this house of cards, but that it was always going to just end poorly. And it's just I find the whole thing to be so tragic. I mean, consequences of actions and everything, but it's just this truly broken person that's like running on fumes, and just, of course, it's going to end in like a mess of bloodshed, truly, and trauma, and it's just so sad to see. And that was something that was always communicated. I remember there was many different sort of iterations ending the secret one that was shot. I mean, kind of post-credit scene almost. Just kidding. But no, it was just so powerful that it was like fate. It was always going to end like this. There was no reality in which it worked out, and I always found that to be kind of beautifully tragic, which I always really liked. I mean, beautifully written, concepted, everything.
So, and from acting point of view, as far as I understand, you guys are pretty fresh in the cinema scene. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if so.
You haven't seen my Oscar-winning performance.
Exactly, I was so hidden empty. Couldn't find anything.
I did a floss commercial with that.
So how was it? And I feel that this was very much the deep end of let's just go for it. It's like performances and steroids and characters, just out of a very, very tragic scenario. That it's how.
We didn't tell Wes to do steroids, but he took that upon himself.
I think it was, what was really cool was as Hunter mentioned, we were all friends before, and I think anyone who goes to school for this stuff or even has any sort of friends when you're coming up, it's always a dream to get to make a movie with your friends. So I think just we got really lucky and this opportunity presented itself, and it was just kind of a no questions asked. Let's dive in, figure it out, and we'll make it work. But it was just really exciting, and I think there was this adrenaline that came from, we've always dreamed that maybe one day we'd get to do this, and it's cool that this opportunity is coming now, so let's just go.
Yeah, and I think just because it was such a ragtag group of people who've been working together for a few years, there was I really felt, I had a hand in writing the movie, but I also really enjoyed, I really enjoy storytelling through acting, and and I think that we were afforded that opportunity in this because it was it wasn't, there was not a lot of ego, there was no, hierarchy or whatever. It was just people all collectively trying to make this thing and trying to tell this story together, and I think that was that's one of the beautiful things about independent filmmaking, is that sort of collective.
I was just gonna say, I also just want to give it up for the people who aren't here, who we didn't know before making this,
Right.
but Lucas Neff and Lucy Urbano and Luna Montana, who were incredible, among others.
Yes.
Devin Seidel were absolutely incredible, and I think Lucas Neff definitely grounded everybody. I think who's Jason, the
Yeah,
president.
so when that guy showed up, he really whipped us all in shape. Not like him, he didn't do it, he wasn't hey guys, get your shit together. But he just came in, was just, because that guy, he was working in TV for years. He's just like, he just came in, was like super locked in immediately, day one. It was just like really great to have sort of like this masterclass in front of us and to go off of. Yeah, he rules.
He was great. Being around him.
No, yeah, go.
It was, in terms of anything, to your sort of base question of how this was done, nothing would have been anything without the team in terms of every aspect, every sort of tier of filmmaking in this scenario was just like, it was built for success. You have this like amazing writing, and then you have this amazing team of actors. Everyone up here, and you were in the movie, don't like?
Yeah, I have a mustache. I'm one of the predators.
He's one of the predators in the YouTube videos. But Lucy Urbano, Lucas Neff was so talented. Being around him was just I felt like a sponge, just trying to soak up as much information as possible. And then, Tyler Michael James, who unfortunately can't be here tonight, like just nothing would have been possible. It kind of just felt like being so shepherded by all these talented people and being surrounded by all these like beautiful minds. It was like, oh, of course this is gonna work out. Like I'm surrounded by such talented, generous, kind, beautiful people.
Yeah, to that note, I just want to shout out one more person. Is our DP, Ian Hussey, who is not only incredibly talented as a DP, but is also like, I've worked with him a few times now, and I would like to keep working with him for a long time because he makes actors feel so safe. And he is just like the best presence all the time. He's like calm, he's amazing. When that guy's in front of you with the camera, it's just like so easy to be like relaxed and dropped in because he's just such a great guy. And it's like crazy to have someone that's like that creative and like not difficult to work with even in the slightest.
He's great.
I love Ian.
In the bedroom vlog scene where it's like, oh, I'm trying to, right before shaving the chest, at one point I have a ball and Ian was like right there for one of these shots and I knock him in one of this, I'm sure you remember this. In the bedroom, I had that basketball thing and I knocked him like right in the head, like right in the eyes. And he just kept going and he was like a machine, but he's so great. It's so nice to be like doing these emotionally intense things. Then you like, it break and Tyler calls cut and then he's like, hey man, like what are we doing for lunch? And you're like, hey, Ian, how you doing, man? It's really good.
Just so we don't forget, also Anthony Sorrell, who plays just
Oh,
going across everybody. He's so smart. He's just the smartest performer.
He's so great.
He plays Tim, the first Predator, and then the guy at the end who does all that stuff.
The only bad guy.
Yeah, right.
And of course, we're Independent Film Festival, and you're an independent film, and I very much understand how it is to be a one-man band, kind of like doubling in programming, hospitality, production, God knows, I don't know, like whatever else, and like you made this film on a shoestring budget, and I can only imagine like how much of everything everyone had to do, like as you said, like music supervisor, this that is like like you even like you did your little cameo. How long did it take? And obviously, I don't know, like if you don't mind sharing the budget with everyone, it's online anyway, and kind of like telling us about your experience of making a film in such a tight budget.
Yeah, so in terms of timeline from conception to today is like almost like 3 years to the day. So we started writing in 2019, finished mid to late 2020, secured funding by like October, November, then filmed January 2021 and February. And then lots and lots of posts, and then now we're here. It's sorry, what was your question again about about just the difficulties? Oh yeah, the budget.
Yeah.
The budget is it's around, I think it ended up being around like $330,000. That was our thing, and yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of that came from, because we ended up shooting during the height of COVID in Los Angeles, which was,
that was a challenge.
Yeah, but from conception, even though I originally, when I was like, I think this could be something, I was like, I want to write something around this. And I was like, I don't know, like a short or something. I don't like, what can we possibly do? And you're like, no, this is a movie. And I just didn't know that was like, it could be an option. But it was from conception. It was, a very contained story that could be shot on the low budget. So that was something we were mindful of.
Yeah, definitely a lot of hustle and bustle and just trying to make things work and just support from the community and you know, reaching out to people. I can't believe I'm actually getting a phone call right now. But get just like reaching back into the community. My mom's a producer on this film. She helped out. She was a part of this process. You reach out to the people who love you and support you and help and then there's a lot of stuff. Like when Lucas came on set, we were kind of like, all right, we really got to focus up. We got to put him in like a dressing room and stuff.
Right.
But most of the time, we're all kind of just running and gunning.
Yeah, and a lot of just like, I don't know. I had just gotten, so Benny's car is my car, and I had like just gotten it, and we just fucked it up so bad. Blood everywhere. My passenger side window still will sometimes not go up and down because it's still sticky from the fake blood. So it's kind of like a microcosm of just the sacrifices. So it makes independent filmmakers is you just kind of like bring your own shit, you make it happen. We had a production designer quit like 2 weeks before we started shooting, and then we're just like, all right, let's all pitch in. Let's use this online furniture thing.
I designed a room.
I have like that fake fish somewhere that I don't even know is in the movie, but it's a very prized possession of mine that I'm trying desperately to get back from Tyler.
Me and Hunter got Benny's room. There's a lot of our own stuff is in there.
Yeah. Anyways.
He did a pretty good job.
Beautiful. Right. 2 questions, and then we gotta wrap up. Who is the lucky one? Who wants it? You want it? Yeah. You want it?
Wow. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, random. I was really at the beginning. There was the scene where you were in the mirror and you were like with the gun thing. Did you guys realize it's a taxi driver?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, but yes and no, in the sense that it's definitely. I mean, Paul Schrader is a huge guy for Noah. We are
Writer and taxi driver.
the writer.
But
of Taxi
and
Driver.
it just and the whole setup of him
Right.
being like with the prepubescent girl and like he like it totally set it up.
I have something to say to kind of ease the. I feel like I can take a good amount of blame for that. Every once in a while, after a cut, I'm a pretty big movie fan myself, and I spend way too much time watching movies, and sometimes the same movies over and over and over again. And there'd be a couple times where we do a scene, and the writing's so rich that sometimes there'd be openings for improvisation. And I remember a couple times Hunter would come up to me and be like, "Hey man, you actually can't say that because that's you're just ripping from a movie right now." I remember we ripped. And he was like, "That was kind of too close to dip." I was like, "Oh yeah." So
No, it's perfect.
I'm sure. I mean, we'll call it an homage. We can happily call it an homage, but it's probably just my broken brain. It's like 90% movie trivia and then 10% like personal data.
It was ironic setup. It was true.
It's just it was my fault, not really theirs.
Paul Schrader and the Safdie brothers are the big people we stole from or were influenced by.
Basically, like, don't be confused.
Oh yeah, like quoting movie kids.
I remember you're like, you can't do that. And I was like, this
Next. Hans, next. One more. There we go.
Hey, this is Hunter. Good to see you guys. So I don't know how many like movie people are in here, like producers, directors, etc., or aspiring. But I think it's pretty interesting. Obviously, I'm close to the work you guys did, but you ran into a couple of issues. I know you started planning the film pre-COVID, so that was a big hurdle you had to address. And then I know toward the end there was a little issue with some musical rights. So you guys hit a couple of bumps in the road. What advice would you give to aspiring producers, directors, creators, as far as just being prepared for the unprepared? Because you hit a couple of big things for a small budget movie. They were pretty big hurdles. So walk through that process for the group. I think that'll be helpful.
Just kill your ego and like be entirely of service to the movie and what the movie needs, and like just be adaptable, and don't allow yourself to wallow in the challenges, because at the end of the day, the just getting the story told in the best possible way with the tools at your disposal is the most important thing. And so like something like this music licensing thing, There was this scene was totally different. Nicole driving around in the car. We had an artist, blah blah blah. It didn't work out in the end. And it was just this like very manic 24 hours of just like, look, we just have to figure this out. We got to find this new thing, and don't be afraid to collaborate with people on it. Don't, just be adaptable. Don't be sensitive, and try to have as thick of skin as possible, because there will always be challenges, but you can always make it happen.
Yeah, it's also just like simply never gonna go how you think it's gonna go,
Right.
like at all. And there was some, like, I remember I got COVID, I think like 15 days before my first scene, and it was, you had to quarantine for 14 days before, and that was a real nightmare. That was a real bummer. But it's just like shit is never gonna go how you think it's gonna go. But that is also one of the like fun parts I think of producing, albeit very stressful. It's like a constant game of Tetris and like a puzzle that you just figure out. And there's like an adrenaline rush that comes with it. So enjoy the process, because you will figure it out, especially if you have a good team. And
if you're
keep
making
it in toast.
a really stressful, upsetting movie like this, then it'll just show up on the screen, which is great. And then, so if you're making like an idyllic, countryside love movie, it'll be tougher. But with this, we brought it to the movie. Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, whatever happens, I think there's a right choice to deal with it. But and also just don't, if a music manager tells you to shoot something where somebody's singing along to a specific song, but is not legally bound to making you to use that song.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, yeah.
Make your own song.
Yes.
As an actor, I mean, they would, on this project, I'd be like, how's it going? They'd be like, we've got problems. And then I'd be like, awesome. Kind of just go back to my little life. So I guess that's sort of the best advice I could give, is just be an actor and not really have to deal with any of the actual problems, because as soon as you're done, you're kind of just like, hey, it's like a walk in the park.
Or a programmer, that's great too. You just watch the show. Right, on this note, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.